Happy New Year! I know by the time this video goes live, it should probably be New Year for everyone across the world because I'm extremely late in making this video. I'm sorry. Basically, once I finished my teaching placement, I was almost completely sure I was going to go straight back into regular weekly content, 5 streams a week, and basically realised that what I really needed was a big break. So I've basically been throwing myself into a bunch of different games. I've played a handful of games on my PS5 over the last week or two, some of which you'll hear about in this video. That's why I didn't do Payday Rewind 2021. Might still do that next month. If you're interested, let me know. But I do typically do a video for the end of the year, and I didn't want to lose that tradition. So I think the first video to get me back into regular content should be one looking back on 2021, ready for the start of next year, and some pretty good content I've got coming down the line. So that I'm really excited for. 2021 has been a year that I know not everyone has loved. It's been a bit of a dodgy one with COVID, etc. There's been a lot of things going on in the world that have not been good. But I feel quite lucky in a way to say that I've made a good year out of this year, despite there being the lockdowns and other bad stuff going on. You know, I've personally had some very good things happen to me that I feel very fortunate about. First off, those of you who've been following my weight loss journey, I've lost now 4 stone, and I'm very, very happy about that. I feel a lot better in myself. I feel a lot more self-confident. And I've also got the new room, which hopefully everyone's really used to by now. I keep changing things behind the scenes, and I'm now very happy to report that it's now in a completely fully organised state, ready for a room tour next month. I've been waiting to do that for ages. Nothing was quite in place ready for it, and everything is now beautifully, perfectly organised, and I'm ready to do a room tour. So look forward to that early next year. Very excited on that. But I want to do a video basically just looking back on 2021, in particular the games that came out, and also games that came out previously that I just played for the first time this year. Because there's a lot of games that I've bounced between over the year, and I think it'd be quite nice to look back on the things that worked and things that maybe didn't work quite so well. So enjoy my ramblings, and all the games will be linked in the description with timestamps so you know when in the video they'll pop up. You'll be able to see it at the scroll bar. So if you only want to hear me talk about certain games, you can do that. Feel free to skip the bits where I talk about those games. But yeah, all I have to say before I get into it is thank you all for the support, not just on YouTube, but on Twitch, in the Discord community. This year has been mental for growing the Twitch, for growing the Discord server, and just for getting a bigger following on YouTube. You're all amazing, and I really can't thank you all enough for it. It's been a hell of a year. I really do appreciate it. I didn't quite make the sub goal I had. I set myself 30,000 subscribers. We didn't quite make that. I feel like that's because a lot of the time I wasn't doing as much content as I could have done or should have done, took some breaks, and, you know, obviously I'm a teaching placement, so I kind of blame myself for that one. But I don't really care. I've made the best out of a bad year. We've all done the best we could with the circumstances, and I feel like I can walk away from 2021 being quite happy, which is nice. I feel quite fortunate in saying that. But anyway, let's talk some video games. So what I've done is I've organised a list on my computer of all the games that came out this year in order of release. So I'm going to talk through the ones that were on my radar. Maybe I didn't play them much, maybe I played them a ton, maybe I liked them, maybe I didn't. I'm going to break it down game by game. So let's start off with the big release of January, which was Hitman 3. This game was fantastic. I really thoroughly enjoyed it. I've liked this whole Hitman trilogy since it came out. I didn't get the first Hitman until after all the episodes were released because I didn't really like the staggered release. That wasn't really my bag. But I have loved Hitman 1. I absolutely adored Hitman 2 when that launched, and Hitman 3 I thought was amazing. It's really cool being able to have all 3 Hitman games in the same game. That was really nice. The map design was on point. The whole story for a Hitman game, to have a really proper story, kind of like Absolution in a sense, was really quite nice. Really enjoyed that. Also having the pleasure of being able to interview David Bates later in the year made that even more special. Just being able to talk to him about it, that was amazing. Link in the description if you've not seen that interview. That was a big one for me. I'm glad they're getting a second year of content, because I was kind of worried they'd release the 7 Deadly Sins DLCs and then just go. Because to be honest, in terms of DLC, I wasn't a huge fan of those. It got a bit repetitive after a while, just a few escalations and a few new suits. It felt lackluster compared to Hitman 2, where they added 2 actual full maps into the game. And I also missed the multiplayer. You know, Ghost Mode might not have been the best thing in Hitman 2, but it was still dumb fun to play with a friend, and for them to have removed the servers on it before Hitman 3 even came out, and still not have any kind of interesting multiplayer in their sandbox, is a bit sad, and I really hope they amend that in year 2, but I guess we'll wait and find out, who knows. The next thing on the radar was the Xbox Series X and PS5 upgrades for Marvel's Avengers, and I want to talk about this briefly because I was thinking about doing a video on this, and I might still do, but Avengers has been probably the biggest disappointment of the year for me. I know most people already tapped out of this game when it came out in September 2019, but I was one of those people who genuinely really liked it. I thought it had a lot of potential, the story was really good, and the online stuff just didn't bother me that much. I liked it. I didn't have as many of the issues that a lot of people had with it, but this year has proved to me that it's not there with the game. There's been some really good expansions, and I really do firmly believe the expansions they've added, the Hawkeye, the Kate Bishop, and the Black Panther ones, have all been really strong. They've been good stuff. Black Panther in particular added a lot of good stuff. I really liked that. But the updates are too few and far between. They take far too long to release, and in between they're adding loads of these paid DLC skins, and I used to buy some of the MCU skins because I thought they look cool, but I've wisened up even to that, because I just think, I'm not playing the game. Why am I bothering buying this stuff? And then Spider-Man releasing on PlayStation. I was considering buying the game for like, if it was like £5 or £10 on PS5 just to try Spider-Man. I'm so glad I didn't, because that web swinging is absolutely horrific, and they really... I think someone said it in a news review or somewhere that it feels like they've put it in more as a promise through gritted teeth than an actual labour of love. Spider-Man just doesn't look as good as he could do and handle as good as he could do from what I've seen in the gameplay. So Avengers is definitely a disappointment this year, I would say. The upgrade itself was nice from a graphical and performance perspective, but it was left lacking in content, I think, this year, definitely. Next up is one more suited to my own personal fandom, is Doctor Who The Lonely Assassins, which was a standout for me, quite surprisingly. It was a little found phone game from the people at Maze Theory who did Simulacra, and it was basically, if you're into Doctor Who at all, it was around the Weeping Angel. So it was following on from the hit episode Blink from very early in the modern series run that is constantly regarded as one of the best episodes of the series, and it's basically following on from that story. You're interacting with fan favourite Doctor Who characters in points, you even get a little bit from Jodie Whittaker's 13th Doctor. And I streamed it, and I put the playthrough of it up on my other channel, which is going to soon be renamed Troy's Thoughts. I keep saying it's going to do that, it still hasn't. It was originally called The Cosmic Vortex. If you want to check it out, it's mainly non-gaming stuff, but the exception is, like, if there's a Doctor Who or a Marvel game, it might go on there instead. I don't know, I haven't decided too much yet, but that was a real standout. That was a really cheap game. You can get it on PC and on phones. I think it's on console as well. I think it's on Xbox and PlayStation. Not sure about Switch. Might be on Switch, but don't quote me to that. But it's really cheap, and if you like Doctor Who and you like the Weeping Angels, it's a good purchase. It was genuinely really fun to play, and was a standout this year. After that came May with the Mass Effect Legendary Edition. Now, I don't really need to talk too much about this because I already put my video up talking about all my thoughts on it at the time when I finished it. But wow, what a game. I was looking at it for so long after they announced it in that trailer and just loving the whole vibe of it and thinking, you know what, now might be the time to get into Mass Effect. And I'm so glad that I did. Just everything about that trilogy was so good, and it feels weird having not played it properly for like half a year now. I've dipped in and out and gone to restart playthroughs and never really lived it through, but next year I am going to sit down and fully replay the game again because I really need to. It was so good. And I can't tell you how excited I am for Mass Effect 4. I just think it's going to be amazing. Or 5. I don't know if they're going to call it 4 or 5 because of Andromeda. Whatever. I'm looking forward to the next one. Liara's confirmed. Hopefully Shepard is still alive. I just want him to go back to that. I want my power couple back, but you can hear all my fangirling about that, fanboying about that, whatever you want in that video. But that was just an amazing game. Mass Effect Legendary Edition, another real standout this year. And it would be wrong of me not to mention Doki Doki Literature Club Plus, which came out then in June. And no, Doki Doki as a game didn't release back in 2017, but Plus was a re-release on console, so I got to buy it on Xbox. It also included some extra bonus content, like explaining some stories between characters. That was quite nice. I did really like that DLC, but it was nice just to replay it again and to play it on console. I'm much more of a console player. If a game is available on console and PC, I will always go for the console version. Payday 2 being the best example, although DLC has made that difficult more recently. But generally, I just love seeing things come out on console, and Doki Doki is one of my favourite games of all time. I adore it. And also, it ended up making me one of the biggest videos of the channel of this year, making that How to Get the Best Ending video. That surprised me with how well that did, so if you watched that, then thank you. I really appreciate it. It was cool to see that do well too, but yeah, Doki Doki Literature Club Plus was definitely a cool thing. Would have been nice for the Collector's Edition to have released on Xbox though. That still annoys me. Up next in August was 12 Minutes, an indie game I was waiting for a very long time. It felt like it was about 2 or 3 years since it was announced. It was this top-down little time loop game with Daisy Ridley, Willem Dafoe, and James McAvoy doing the voice acting, which alone is a great cast. I streamed it in full on Twitch and also uploaded the playthrough in 4 parts to YouTube, and it was a good game. I just think the storyline was a bit weird. It felt like it could have done with a little bit more time in the oven. It was a little bit confusing in points, and there was this weird little incest undertone that was just really odd. If you haven't played the game, that's kind of a spoiler. Sorry about that. But it was odd. It was very odd. I enjoyed my time with it, but something felt off about that ending, man. Something felt really off. But overall, the mechanics were really good. It was basically, this guy caught in a time loop. Whenever he died or tried to leave the room or whenever a certain amount of time passed, it would reset, and you got to obviously keep going and try and figure out what's going on. Classic Groundhog Day thing. But yeah, the story was interesting, but a little bit uncomfortable at points, but I guess that was kind of the point. It was very interesting, I will say, watching the behind-the-scenes documentary, seeing the actors talk about it, that was really cool. And Willem Dafoe, that man's always a legend. We love him, and him being in anything. Spider-Man No Way Home, we need to say nothing more about that, because wow, was he good in that. Point being, still a good game, just little strange. And speaking of strange, September saw the release of Life is Strange True Colors, but we'll get there in a second because before that came Sonic Colors Ultimate, which was another dud for me. I never played Sonic Colors on a proper console. I owned it on DS and had a good amount of fun with it, but I was really excited to play through this on console. I was looking forward to being able to play a new Sonic game on console. Well, not new, but something that hadn't previously released on an Xbox before, and I thought this will be quite fun. I streamed it, and even the stream gave up. You know, like, we had about, I think 3 viewers by the end, and I know it's not all about viewers, but when that many people dip out of a stream, when there was about 15, 20 people, and everyone dipped out, I wasn't really enjoying it. By the time I got to the boss level, I kept dying, and I couldn't really get over it, and that was annoying me. I just feel like I expected more. It didn't feel like a remake so much as just like a touch-up in certain areas of levels because the cutscenes were untouched, which was a bit weird. I don't know, I just feel like I just want a new Sonic game, to be honest. You know, it's been 4 years since the last full-on fledged Sonic game released with Mania/Forces. I know Sonic Frontiers, I think it's called, is coming out next year, so there's that. But I just want Sonic Mania 2. I feel like everyone wants that, and I don't know why they're not going for that. I get that they want to make more modern Sonic games, but why can't they do Frontiers and Mania 2 at the same time? Mania was such a slam dunk, amazing game. I just want to see that. But as I said, September saw my favourite game of the year and potentially my new favourite game of all time release, Life is Strange True Colors. What a masterpiece. And again, just like Mass Effect, I don't really need to say too much about this because I did a video on True Colors as well as uploading my full playthrough of all 5 chapters and the Wavelengths DLC. That in particular did quite well. Thank you for watching that. But yeah, it's just a fantastic game. I adored every inch of it. Life is Strange is something very personal to me, a series that I love to bits. You will know this by now, no doubt. But True Colors just felt like it took everything about the franchise and upped it and made it better and cleaner and crisper and just so enjoyable. I loved it so much. It was absolutely fantastic, and I am so grateful that a game like that exists. And to have interviewed Erica Mori, who played Alex Chen, she was a gem to talk to, and Katie Bentz, who played Steph. Just talking to them both, the 2 leading ladies of the game, was amazing, and, you know, being able to play the game and get to find out the secrets behind it and all that, for someone who loves Life is Strange as much as I do, that was huge. But just as a game generally, absolute masterpiece. If you haven't played it yet, you need to play it. It is so good. Moving on to October, there's a couple of things I will mention in passing. First off, Back 4 Blood. I played the beta. I didn't really enjoy it. Maybe I'm a bit of a weird one on this one, but I haven't never played that much of the Left 4 Dead franchise. I played Left 4 Dead 2 a bit on my Twitch this year for the first time with that franchise. It completely passed me by when I was younger, and I really enjoyed Left 4 Dead 2, but Back 4 Blood just, I don't know, I feel like it just didn't work that well for me. Is that just me? I don't know. There was also this weird obsession with blood. Like, as soon as you fire one bullet at a zombie, your entire body turned red. It's weird they didn't properly turn that down in the main game. But just generally, I just didn't really vibe with it. So that was one I played but didn't really grab. But another game that released in October that I really wish I'd played more of and definitely will amend in early 2022 was Guardians of the Galaxy, a game that was highly regarded as one of the best games of 2021 but came out slap bang in the middle of me starting my teaching placement and things getting worse with that. I streamed the first few hours of it and then didn't play anything else after, or maybe a smidge of it, because I then started my teaching placement. I was working every night, planning lessons, etc. And then not long after that, I got my PS5, so any spare time I had for games, went into playing Spider-Man on there. It just completely fell by the wayside, and I hate that it managed that this year, because I was so excited for the game, and I was loving what I was playing. I've heard amazing things, and I definitely will dive into it in 2022, because I'm really looking forward to actually getting in and beating the game. I'll probably start it from scratch and just, like, go start to finish, but what I played, I really liked, and I'm looking forward to playing more of it. Now we're moving on to the end of the year, the 3 releases in November, because there's actually nothing for December for me that I picked up. So in November, we first off had Call of Duty Vanguard, the only game here that I can talk about that I didn't pick up in any way, shape, or form, because I played the beta, and I really just was like, it's okay, but it's not special, and didn't really stand out to me. And then I played it in 2 of the 3 weekends. The first free weekend felt decent. I felt like I was getting some kind of fun out of it. There was the Das House, I think, called multiplayer map. That and Shipment felt quite fun, but it's Shipment, of course it would. But Vanguard just feels like a shell of a Call of Duty game compared to what usually releases. I haven't vibed with it this year, and it's the first Call of Duty game that it's got to Christmas and gone past Christmas, and I don't own the game. The first Call of Duty that's applied to since before Advanced Warfare. So to not buy one this year feels very weird, and it's odd not having a COD game to stream, like as the current COD on Twitch, but I don't really regret it. Once it goes to about a price of £30, I'll probably buy it, because I will get some time out of it streaming it, but I don't regret not buying it. It just hasn't grabbed me, and it was just a bit of a mess. Just feels like a bit of a mess. Zombies in particular, don't talk to me about zombies. What a waste of a mode there. Just, Oh, why would you combine Outbreak features with it again? Outbreak was such a letdown in Cold War. I'm sorry, but it was. Why would you put it back? Why? Not long after that, we had the GTA Trilogy Definitive Edition, which I played a smidge of GTA 3 and a bit of a chunk of San Andreas. I get all the hatred this is getting, I'll be honest with you, because it's a remake that could have been done so much better. You know, there are features on it that just were not right, that were not up to snuff. I personally have enjoyed my time with it mostly. I like some of the more modern features. The game handling and running a bit more like GTA 5 does is kind of nice, although it does feel a bit weird in some of them, especially San Andreas, which I've played far more than I should have done in my lifetime pre-GTA 5. The controls being different is a bit odd. But there's just, you know, weird bugs and glitches and visual issues and stuff that just shouldn't have happened. Overall, it's a decent experience, but I'm glad I didn't buy it. I have San Andreas on Game Pass on Xbox, now GTA 3 on PS Now, on PS5. So I've got those experiences. Vice City, I really wish I had Definitive, and maybe when the trilogy goes really cheap, I will buy it and then play Vice City on Definitive. But I just don't like that they got rid of all the old versions of the stores to make you buy the trilogy. That was also just really scummy. I own Vice City on the PS2, so maybe just play it on there at some point, hook my PS2 back up and just play on there. If I can get that working on this monitor. I probably can. I'll need like a HDMI adapter. I might just do it that way. And then the final release of this year that I did actually play a bit of was Battlefield 2042, but not very much. Again, didn't buy the game. EA Play gives me a 10-hour free trial, so I got to play it and try out a bit with a couple of my mates. And honestly, I'm going to hold my hands up on this one. This is mad cause bad. I'm going to be real with you, because I'm just not good at Battlefield games. I've never been good at Battlefield games, and because of that, it makes it really hard to get into 2042 when all you do when you play the game is suck ass. I'm so bad. I'm so bad at the game. Overall, it seems like a decent game. It's got a typical Battlefield mess of glitches and visual errors and stuff like that, but I'm sure people are probably having some good fun with it, but for me, it wasn't for me because I couldn't get into it properly because I'm no good at the game. But that is all the games that released in 2021. But like I said, there are games that didn't release in 2021 that I played a lot of or got into this year. So I want to give a bit of time to talk through some of those. So let's do that. First off, we're going to start with the game that came out towards the end of 2020 that was big for me privately, and also one that I made a weekly feature out of for a long time on Twitch, which was Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. As I've said, it feels weird not having the Call of Duty now to stream as regular content, because that's what I did with Cold War. Whether it was multiplayer open lobbies or a ton of zombies, that game is one of my favourite Call of Duties that's released in recent years. I know getting fans to agree on Call of Duty games these days is absolutely nigh on impossible, and it's even worse for someone like me, for whom one of my favourite Call of Duty games is Advanced Warfare, which I know is a hot take, but I loved that game. I always have, I always will. But I really loved Cold War. The campaign was good fun, even though I didn't play it for about 6 months. Multiplayer was really quite solid. I really enjoyed it. I had good fun with a lot of the modes in it, and a lot of the maps were pretty decent. Obviously, some stinkers, but that's to be expected with every Call of Duty. But Zombies was where it was at. I have loved Black Ops 3 Zombies for a very, very long time, but I honestly feel like I got more out of Cold War. I just loved the system. I liked the maps. I wish there were more maps. I would love it if they did more maps in Black Ops Cold War system, but they sadly haven't. But I loved it. I thought it was just the pinnacle of zombies. It was so good. I had so much fun streaming it, playing it privately. I got to like Prestige 20 for the amount of time I was playing zombies. About maybe 2 of those Prestiges is from multiplayer time, if that. I played so much zombies, and I really loved it. And I just streamed it earlier tonight, and all the love came flooding back. I miss it. I love it. It was such a good time, and I had so much fun playing it. But speaking of games I streamed that stood out to me, another game that I started in 2020 and then didn't finish till 2021 was Yakuza 0, a game that I was going to do a video on and then somehow never did, but I have to point it out as a game that really stood out to me. There's a really good story, there's good free roam opportunities in certain places, not as good as, like, you know, GTA, but it's not quite the same open world, so that wouldn't make sense anyway. But there was a really good story there. I had such a great time with it, and I look back on it really fondly as a game that I'm really glad I ended up playing on stream, that I got basically bullied into almost playing by my Twitch community. I'm glad I did. And one of my biggest regrets this year is not playing Yakuza Kiwami and Kiwami 2 by the end of the year, because they both leave Game Pass on New Year's Eve, so by the time you're seeing this, they've already left. I started Kiwami 1 on stream, and then the teaching placement got in the way, and I never finished it, and I really regret that, so I'll have to buy the games, because I really want to get into the full Yakuza franchise and play through all of them, but I've not had the time, but I will hopefully amend that very soon, because Yakuza 0 was great, and I really want to play more. I really do. The next thing I want to talk about are 2 Resident Evil games, Resident Evil 2 and 3's remakes. I got Resident Evil 2's remake when it first came out in, I think, 2019. Correct me if I'm wrong, I think it was like February 2019. I was really looking forward to it. It looked like a good game. I bought it on launch, played it, and as soon as Mr. X showed up and I realized he was chasing me around constantly, I turned the game off out of fright and never turned it back on again. Yeah, I'm that kind of guy. But I honestly eventually realized that, you know, I really wished I'd gone back and played it, because what I played of it was good, and I just wussed out. So I probably picked it back up again in the middle of the year. I think it was mid to August-ish, I think. I can't remember specifically. Sometime in the middle of 2021. Played right through Resident Evil 2 with both Claire and Leon stories. Absolutely loved it. Thoroughly enjoyed it. What a masterpiece of a game. That was fantastic. And then right after picked up Resident Evil 3 and played that, the remake. That one I know isn't as fondly received because it was very linear and not quite as long of a game, less puzzles, that kind of thing. But do you know what? I had a really good time with that game as well. I think both of those are fantastic games. I thoroughly enjoyed them, and I had to mention them because I had a really good time. And it's just good when you get a game that, you know, is single player, story driven, that you can churn a lot of time into and walk away from going, you know what, that was really, really good. There's not enough games releasing like that these days, and there are more games to come I'm going to talk about shortly that are exactly the same kind of thing. And Resident Evil 2 and 3 did that for me. They were really, really good. I really wanted to play the rest of the Resident Evil games. I've played a bit of 6 over the years, but I wanted to get into 4, and I struggled so hard with the control scheme and everything. It feels so antiquated compared to the 2 and 3 remakes. So I've left it for now. I'm crossing my fingers they announce a remake. I'm pretty sure one was leaked on that GeForce leak that happened earlier in the year that confirmed the GTA Trilogy remaster, so that's obviously going to be presumably a legit leak. So I'm going to hold out and see if there's any news on a Resident Evil 4 remake this year. If not, I'll probably just pick up the old version and play it anyway, because I have been missing out on Resident Evil. I know that, and I need to play the games I'm missing out on. I really do. Before we get on to the last section with PS5 stuff, what I want to talk about very briefly is Gang Beasts. That came out on Xbox Series X or on Xbox One via Game Pass, and I only give that an honourable mention because the amount of fun I've had playing that with my friends has been hilarious. I can't remember the last game I played multiplayer with mates that had me laughing as much as that game has. Late at night, and just honestly having hours and hours of fun, screaming, laughing, throwing people off buildings and stuff. It's so much fun. It's a great little arcade game, and I had to mention that very honourably for like 20 seconds because I really liked it. But let's finish off by talking about PS5, because as I said, I got a PS5 towards the end of the year because of the TG placement. Yet again, didn't get as much time with it as I would have liked, but in the last couple of weeks, I've been playing a lot of stuff on there. So when I first got it, my first priority was playing Spider-Man Remastered, and I did play that at the time across a few weeks, and that has become one of my favourite games of all time. It's the best superhero game of all time. That game, I kind of need to do a video on it in its own right, and I probably will do that early next year and talk about it, because I just finished New Game Plus this week just gone. It's amazing. I kind of think I might save my thoughts, and if you're looking back on this retroactively, and I have made that video, I will link it on screen so you can just go and watch that. But the web swinging, the story, the voice acting, the graphics, the performance, the free roam stuff, everything about that game is absolutely pitch perfect, and it extends into the Miles Morales expansion standalone game. I just played that as well, and that was amazing too. Both of those are like what I really, really expect from story-driven games, and especially from games like that take a much-loved character and try and present a new story. Insomniac know how to make a good game, and I'm so excited for Spider-Man 2 in 2023, and considering I'm not someone who's ever cared about the X-Men, I am genuinely looking forward to playing their Wolverine game, because I know they'll make something good there. That will be maybe the game that gets me into the X-Men properly, because Insomniac know their stuff, and they nailed 2 games there that were absolutely fantastic, and I want to talk about it so much more, but I will go massively off topic, so I'm going to cut it off there and say I will make a video soon. Maybe on one for each game, maybe one for them both together, I haven't decided, but they need a video. Next year, it's going to happen. And then finally, I wrap up by talking about the game I just finished 2 days ago, The Last of Us. I am so late to this party. I know. I never owned a PS3. I never owned a PS4. The Last of Us completely passed me by. I do know spoilers because annoyingly when the whole Last of Us 2 charade of everyone not liking the game or liking the game was going on, I watched a video where someone was talking about the spoilers for Last of Us 2, so I know some of the stuff that happens in that game, but I also heard by extension what the plot was in The Last of Us 1, and like an idiot just kind of went, well, I've not got a PlayStation, I'm probably not going to get one for ages, I'll just listen to it. So I went into Last of Us knowing what was going to happen, which I really wish I hadn't done. But honestly, it was really good. It looks good for a 2014 game. Like, it's a remaster that was built for PS4 in the early years of its era. It looks good. It's a good game. The voice acting's really good. Ellie is a fantastic character. I prefer Ellie to Joel. Apparently on my Twitch that was a hot take, but maybe it is. I don't know. But Ellie is a fantastic character. I really like her. I keep clicking the arms on my chair so you keep hearing those noises. Sorry about that. But I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really, really good game. I played the Left Behind DLC after that, which I didn't like as much as everyone else seems to. Everyone else seems to say it's an absolutely brilliant DLC. To me, it felt like it kind of filled in gaps that weren't really needed, per se. This is again a case of I'm probably going to do a video on this like I did with Spider-Man. I feel like I need to do more like other game-based reviews and talk about these things in more detail, but the Ellie kiss obviously was a big thing, and I'm not undermining that in any way, shape, or form, but the whole Ellie and Riley and them getting bit thing, it was cool to see, but we already heard it explained in the game, so I'm kind of wonder, was it needed? I don't know. But it was kind of cool seeing how, you know, Ellie looked after Joel, but a lot of that was just filler as well. It felt like a DLC that was cool, but was it really needed that much? I don't know. But Last of Us 1, as a game, absolute masterpiece, and much to some people's complaint, I have immediately started Last of Us 2. At the time of recording this, there are 2 days to go, or 3 days to go until it leaves PS Now, and I'm determined to finish it before then. I don't want to buy the game, I want to play it on PS Now to make the most of that membership. So I'm going to be no-lifing it for the next few days, and hopefully I will finish it. And when I do, I'll talk about it because I know that's a very polarizing game and I'll be interested to see what I think about it at the end of it. Like I said, I know a few key plot details, so I'm wondering if that will impact how I see the game. Maybe I'll look at it and be like, you know what, I actually understand this because I knew it going into it and I can kind of see the themes and where it was going. It might help soften the blows for some big things. Who knows? Anyway, that's the end of 2021 for me. It's been a good year. You know, amidst all of the bad stuff, I've had some really good stuff happen. Like I said, my weight loss, getting this new room, playing a lot of good games. Just, it's like I said, it's making the best of a bad situation. So all I have to say is thank you all so much for your support across this year. I can't say how much it means to me, both on YouTube and on Twitch. Anyone who's in the Discord community, link in the description if you're not already on there. People who follow me on Twitter, on Instagram, I've tried posting more on there. I'm going to take that more seriously next year as well. Try and do more posts of just me as well as the things I'm uploading. But yeah, it's been a really good year. I'm grateful for all the love and support you lot have shown. And I'm excited for 2022. So thank you all very much for watching. I do greatly appreciate it. If you have enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. I would greatly appreciate it. And if you are new around here, feel free to click that subscribe button. It's quick, it's free, and I will always love you for doing so. And you never miss out on any future content on this channel. But there we have it. Thank you for all your support in 2021. And I will see you all next year. Or by the time you're watching this, like I've said, this year. Really weird recording this on, at this point now, it's 5 minutes to New Year. I'm going to end this recording and it's about to be 2022 in the UK. So thank you all for an amazing year. I can't thank you all enough. It feels nice to end the year with me saying this in a video. You know, it feels cool to end with that. So thank you all very much, and I'll see you all soon with some new videos. Look forward to them. Take care, everyone. Much love.